Hello, I'm Thomas George, Chairman of the Board of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation. We welcome you here today, and of course, we're celebrating our 45th year as an organization of over 60 national African-American organizations and organizations that partner with us to make a difference in our communities. Today, we welcome you to our virtual press conference. We are here today to announce our response to the crisis significantly impacting our community. The Rebuild Hope Now project is a vehicle to create lasting systemic change within the communities that we serve, the institutions we work with, and of course, addressing those issues that impact lives in Black Americans, while inciting full participation in a barrier-free democratic process. The purpose and intent of a 3-year campaign is to address longstanding systemic racism, economic, health, and other injustices challenging the African-American community. And we have some great partners who've joined us and great organizations. Today, you will hear from, of course, what we've already done to this point. You hear what we're planning to do. And more importantly, we'll also like to make sure that you know those great partners who are working in tandem with us. This is a great opportunity for us to make a difference. We believe we can, we believe we must. And so we, again, welcome you to this great gathering. At this time, I'd like to introduce a phenomenal lady who's making a difference. And I tell you, when I see young leaders making a difference, it inspires me to do more. And so today I introduce you to Ms. Dee Marshall, phenomenal lady. She is the corporate. Gotcha. I'd like to introduce you to a phenomenal lady. I met her last year, and I have nothing but praise for what she's done and how she's really helped us in the National Coalition up our game to make sure the communications are there. I introduce to you our moderator for this press conference, Ms. Dee Marshall. She is the Corporate Engagement Advisor, and she got it.
All right. Well, listen, good afternoon, everybody. And thank you so much for that. Tommy, Mr. Chairman, I thank you so much for those kind words. I am excited really to be here today. And part of my excitement is because the organization, NCBCP, has been doing amazing social justice work for a long time, far in advance of what's happening right now in terms of the fact that we are amid a global reckoning of racism against Black people in these United States. NCBCP has been doing the work. And so today we have an opportunity in the brief moments here to really connect the dots in terms of a lot of major corporations, major brands that really are very powerful presence in our communities. Those big brands made significant investments in our communities. And so what I'm appreciating is that we have the opportunity to spotlight some of those brands and partners that support the work of NCBCP. And so that's what we're going to do in the brief time that we are here. And so when I, began supporting and working with NCBCP, I have to tell you, I had nothing but respect for the leader, the president and CEO. Melanie Campbell is a true trailblazer, a game changer, but really a worker, boots to the ground in terms of the work that she does. And so it was not planned that she would be here, but we do have her for a few minutes to join us and really speak to Rebuild Now and the vision behind it and why it is that we are here, why this is significant for us to talk about this project and the work that NCBCP is doing and the support of the partners and the sponsors who are here. So I want to introduce Melanie Campbell to come in for brief remarks before we move into the press conference.
Thank you. Thank you, Dee Marshall, my sister friend, and my chairman for your leadership and for the partnership, and all of our colleagues here represented today who invested in the work of the National Coalition. As was mentioned, the coalition was founded nearly 45 years ago with a mission to make sure that we focused on ensuring that we remove barriers for not just African Americans, but all Americans to our democracy. The Rebuild Hope Now project really focuses in on harnessing the work of the organization that focuses on civic engagement, but also focuses on equity, focuses on economic opportunity, and focuses in on justice. So this project is something that part of these things we were working on already, and then addressing the moment that we're in that is still with us as a nation, and that is to eradicate racial injustice, social injustice for African Americans, for Black Americans, and indeed for all Americans. So it is my honor to spend this time and thank our partners who are with us today, and thank all of those. And there's so much work that we're focusing on. And one of the things with this is our phase 2 as we are engaged in making sure that folks know how to vote, make sure they know where to vote. That's part of justice. Very much core to our democracy is the idea of participating in a democracy free from barriers. So we thank our partners. The other is Black women. We focus on entrepreneurship, and that's going on. Our Black Youth Vote, focusing on leadership development for our young people. And we also focus on the South. And so we are in the midst of building an institute, that will focus and harness the power of the South in building power and community in African American communities to be able to live equitably and to have justice and have opportunity for our community. So thank you, Dee, and I turn it back over to you.
National Coalition on Black Civic Participation presents the Rebuild Hope, Equity, and Equal Justice Now Project, Phase 2. This is a 3-year campaign to address the long-standing systemic racism, economic, health, and other injustices challenging the African American community. With the support of our corporate partners, Verizon, the Coca-Cola Company, and T-Mobile, we've already begun expanding our civic engagement and social justice work through constituency-based programs and initiatives. Since the launch of Rebuild Now, project activities have included the Black Male Initiative, Take It to the Top Entrepreneurship Challenge, hashtag Are You Vote Ready, New Era Foot Soldiers for Democracy, Black Women Making Her Story to Save Our Democracy, the Power of Leadership Role of Women of Color in the Civil Rights and Social Justice Movement, and Spill the Tea, a virtual discussion during the Democratic National Convention featuring Gen Y and Z. And moving forward, the goals of Rebuild Hope Now include empowering more Black women and girls, training, mentoring, and providing civic leadership opportunities for Black youth and men, utilizing arts and entertainment to bring together multiracial, multi-generational coalition to address racial understanding, healing, and reconciliation. And lastly, establishing a Southern Civic Engagement and Social Justice Institute in Atlanta, Georgia, to expand NCBCP's civic engagement, research, and social justice work across the Southern states and nationally. Thank you, Verizon, the Coca-Cola Company, and T-Mobile.
And now that you've heard a little bit more about Rebuild Now and the work that we have already been doing here at the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation, we want you to meet the funders, the partners, the sponsors, the executives inside of these big brands who are the ones responsible, along with the corporation, to identify those organizations like NCBCP who are worthy in some ways to receive the funding to go out and do the social justice work. So these are brands who have already been committed to our communities. Verizon, the Coca-Cola Company, and we are proud to introduce a new partner, T-Mobile. But you have seen in the public domain, Verizon was one of the first to step up back in June to make a significant contribution to address the injustices. And so I want to introduce the woman, Donna M. Epps. Many of you may know her, but she is super committed to our communities, to our people, and to barrier-free opportunities for all. And so without further ado, I introduce Verizon and the executive there, Donna M. Epps, who's responsible for the work that we are doing now and committed to Rebuild Now.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, Dee, for that introduction. I am Donna Epps, and Verizon is proud to support the National Coalition's Rebuild Hope Now initiative. At Verizon, we know how critical it is to invest in our communities. This pandemic, as we know, has thrust the economic, the health, and the wealth disparities in this country into sharp focus. And we've seen how these disparities have had devastating consequences on families across the country. Now, when you add to that the frustration and pain that we've seen spill over into the streets because of the systemic racism that still exists in this country, it's clear that our country is in crisis and that we need leaders from both the public and the private sector to band together, to support each other, and to really collaborate using all the tools at our disposal to make changes that our country so desperately needs. So that's why earlier this year, we were pleased to be able to give the National Coalition close to $1.5 million to help bolster their efforts to do the critical work that they are so uniquely qualified to do and that is so necessary for the Black community. They focused on civic engagement, economic empowerment, empowering our youth, as you've heard. And when we first awarded this grant to the National Coalition, they came back to us really quickly with a very detailed and comprehensive action plan that they are now calling Rebuild Hope Now. And since June, they have been on fire, doing just amazing work with voter recruitment and engagement and participation, and recruiting poll workers and poll monitors, and hosting roundtables highlighting the work of African-American women in the social justice movement. And they have not forgotten Black men, which we really appreciate, that they put together a Black male initiative that is encouraging civic engagements between intergenerational groups of Black men and boys. So they have just been on fire, and we couldn't be more pleased to support their work. We are at Verizon are fiercely committed to diversity and inclusion and social justice. We've taken a number of steps to increase diversity inside the company and also to create opportunities and equal justice for all outside of the company. But we know now is not the time to rest on our laurels. No, instead, now is the time to raise the bar and to move into a higher gear. So our brand purpose at Verizon is we build the networks that move the world forward. But we know we can't fully realize that purpose unless we're helping to ensure that we move the world forward for everyone. And working with partners like the National Coalition helps us to do just that. So congratulations to the National Coalition for this exciting new initiative, and we can't wait to see what more you have in store in the weeks and months ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Donna. Again, thank you not just for supporting this work, but for using your position and your opportunity there with Verizon to really keep a pulse with what it is that communities of color and all people really need. So we appreciate you. And so without further, we are going to move on to another partner here. Again, these are brands that I think it's important for us to know we're consumers of these brands. And what's really sweet is that these brands, then they see us and they support organizations who advocate for us. I see a lot of conversation in the chat. This is a live press conference, virtual, if it will, but I think it's important if you're on social to really connect the dots in terms of where we are, as consumers are spending our dollars, and then who are those brands who are investing in our communities? And so that is why it was important for us to pause and to announce phase 2 of the initiative, but to also really celebrate the work that is already being done and being funded by Verizon, for all of you of Verizon, and for Coca-Cola, for all of you who are drinking those beverages. And so without further, I want to introduce this champion, a powerhouse in her own right. These are the big brands and the big presence within a bigger presence. Her name is Felicia Turrentine-Wasson. I absolutely adore and appreciate the fact that she's a powerful executive committed to this work and has been long before 2020. And so without further ado, I want to introduce Coca-Cola, Felicia, for the work that they've already committed to supporting and the work that they will continue to do.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Dee, for the gracious introduction. It is my privilege and the Coca-Cola Company's honor to be here with you today. At the Coca-Cola Company, our mission is to refresh the world and make a difference. We are proud to support the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation, and we have done so for over 20 years. We're excited about the important work of the Rebuild Now project. It is imperative, we believe, that our company's support of community organization include actions that will swing the pendulum of equity and economic justice to the Black community in these most uncertain times. Why, you may ask, is it important for the Coca-Cola Company to invest in our communities? It is imperative that we do so to address economic, health, and wealth disparities to increase the social economic status of Black women and girls. And we know that when we do that, we also increase that social economic status of men, boys, and Black families. It was so good to see the launch of the Take It to the Top program in March at the Black Women's Roundtable Summit in DC, right before the quarantine happened. This conference was one of the last ones to occur prior to the pandemic. The organization was prepared and poised to offer this programming then, but we're so pleased to see how Black Women's Roundtable and the coalition quickly pivoted to restructure the challenge and programming to lead a virtual challenge to still serve women and girls. A few months ago, we relaunched the Black Women's Roundtable Take It to the Top Entrepreneurship Challenge. This program is designed to address economic injustice indicative of significant wealth and income disparities that impact Black women. And we're so very proud to support this. The Coca-Cola Company started a program called 5 by 20 years ago with the goal of empowering 5 million women to become entrepreneurs by the year 2020. And quickly, we are approaching the end of 2020, and we're proud to say that the National Coalition, the Black Women's Roundtable, and through our participation in the Take It to the Top Entrepreneurship Challenge brings Black women closer to that goal. It is my privilege and honor to call the National Coalition, Melanie Campbell, Thomas Dortch, the board president, partner and friend. And please know that the Coca-Cola Company remains committed to refresh the world and make a difference and continue to partner with the coalition in making our communities better, more equitable, and more purposeful for our communities to reach their full potential in these most challenging times. Again, thank you for the opportunity. Let's show the Take It to the Top video now, if you will.
The Black Women's Roundtable is launching its Take It to the Top Entrepreneurship Challenge for minority girlpreneurs, current HBCU enrolled students, and community-based entrepreneurs. Take It to the Top is a Shark Tank-style challenge on college university campuses and other community-based locations. The disparity between minority and non-minority women is increasing by wide margins. In 2019, the average revenue minority woman-owned business, excluding Asian American women, was $65,800. In comparison to the average revenue of $218,800 for non-minority women-owned businesses in 2019. This disparity has an enormous effect on the U.S. economy. 4 million new jobs and $981 billion in revenue could be added if average revenue of minority women-owned firms matched that of white women-owned businesses. So, the Black Women's Roundtable is looking for you if you have an idea or you are pre-venture. We are looking for collegiate, that can be individual or group, community, or girlpreneurs, groups targeting 16 to 17-year-olds, for a chance to become top challenge winners who will receive prizes ranging from $1,000 to $10,000 at the state level. Top challenge winners can advance to qualify for the $25,000 top national grand prize and be recognized by the National Coalition of Black Civic Participation and the Black Women's Roundtable during National Entrepreneurship Month, November 2020, with an opportunity to qualify for the grand prize. To be eligible, you must be a resident of Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Michigan, Mississippi, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, DC, Maryland, or Virginia. Thank you to Coca-Cola, and for more information on the Black Women's Roundtable Challenge, please visit www.blackwomensroundtable.org.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Coca-Cola. Thank you, Verizon. And I want to just say this, that Take It to the Top Entrepreneurship Challenge started at the beginning of the year as a challenge and for aspiring entrepreneurs and ideapreneurs. And then once the pandemic hit, what Melanie Campbell said, the president of this organization, she says, we need this challenge now more than ever because women are now unemployed. Our communities are hit harder when we are in a recession, pandemic, whatever it is that the world is experiencing, Black communities are experiencing it 10 times greater. And so we are so pleased to say that the Take It to the Top Entrepreneurship Challenge that was launched just a short time ago, we are extending the opportunity to apply. Deadline to register for the challenge is October 5th. And so we wanted to announce this here with our Rebuild Now initiative and phase 2, that you have an opportunity, or if you know a woman or a girl 16 to 17 years old, an aspiring entrepreneur, National Coalition on Black Civic Participation with the Black Women's Roundtable has an opportunity for you to compete in the challenge for a chance to win between $2,500 and $25,000, thanks to the Coca-Cola company and thanks to Verizon. And so we want to move on with the conference, this press conference, and close out with our last partner, or at least our final partner for the moment. Because let me say this, if you are watching and interested in the work of civic engagement and social justice and wondering how to get involved, the NCBCP is your opportunity. Just go to ncbcp.org if you'd like to partner, if you'd like to sponsor, if you'd like to join the brands that are investing in our communities. We invite you to do that. And so I want to introduce our last partner for this moment, and that is T-Mobile. And so I'm going to share a video from T-Mobile. They were not able to be here at our virtual press conference today, but they were super excited to be part of the work. They were, again, an organization that stepped up this year in the middle of the year amid the global reckoning of racism in this country and civil unrest, and reached out to the president of the organization to say, we see your work, we know your value, and we want to support our communities. So I want to say thank you to Marisela, and I'm going to roll tape to Michelle Persad.
Hello and good afternoon. T-Mobile is proud to support the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation. We believe that the work of Melanie Campbell and the coalition is imperative to moving the needle forward on issues of social justice and civic engagement, especially at this critical juncture. We know that systemic racism is real, and now more than ever, we must work together to find actionable solutions. T-Mobile believes that the launch of the Rebuild Hope, Equity, and Equal Justice Now project is a strong step forward in that direction. And T-Mobile supports the coalition's strategic plan and goals to address the injustices challenging our communities today. Here at T-Mobile, we are committed to growing, learning, and evolving. And as the project unfolds, we look forward to continuing to partner with NCBCP and to support the coalition's work to bring about meaningful change. On behalf of T-Mobile, may I extend our deepest gratitude and say thank you to everyone who has devoted their precious time and invaluable resources to this vital effort. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michelle. And thank you to T-Mobile. We are so excited. And I share this on behalf of the president and CEO of NCBCP, Melanie Campbell. We thank you so much for supporting the work. And so there you have it. The National Coalition on Black Civic Participation, phase 2 of Rebuild Hope, Equity, and Equal Justice Now. Now we move into phase 2. And so what's happening in phase 2 as we close out this press conference? What is it that we will be doing going forward? First of all, we will be absolutely involved in getting our communities out to vote, says Melanie Campbell, and we will rebuild, says Melanie Campbell. We will rebuild now. We will press forward and continue our 3-year campaign in a number of ways, says Melanie Campbell. She says, in these 4 ways, we will continue empowering Black women to live healthier, wealthier, and wise. We will continue training, mentoring, and providing civic leadership opportunities for Black youth and men. In addition to that, new initiatives will launch in phase 2, utilizing arts and entertainment to bring together a multi-racial, multi-generational coalition to address racial understanding, healing, and reconciliation, because that's what we need now. And lastly, for this significant campaign, Rebuild Now, establishing a Southern Civic Engagement and Social Justice Institute in Atlanta, Georgia, to expand NCBCP's civic engagement, research, yes, research, and social justice work across the Southern states and nationally. And so that is Rebuild Now. We thank you for joining us for this virtual press conference. We thank you for sharing the message of Rebuild Now. We invite you to follow everywhere online at NCBCP. We invite you to tweet and to share hashtag Rebuild Now. We invite you to speak bold and unapologetically about the brands that are supporting your communities, our communities. Verizon, thank you. Coca-Cola, thank you. And T-Mobile, thank you. We thank you, Chairman, Mr. Chairman, Thomas W. Dortch Jr., thank you so much. And Donna, Felicia, Michelle, and Marie, we thank you. And until next time, stay encouraged and don't forget, vote.